remember seeing my stepfather walk out on our family when I was 12 years old. After years of my sister and me being hit by him, I don't remember being all that sad to see him leave. Actually, I don't remember feeling much of anything back then. The next several years were a struggle for us all. That much I do remember. Rent was tight and food was inconsistent, and Mom worked most of the time to just get us that. She was distant, and her boyfriends were a revolving door of poor role models. Some stole money from her and my sister. One would drink all the time and yell at us if we talked back to him, and still, others were just never around to begin with. When I finally moved out, I didn't have much support to speak of. My sister and mother couldn't offer me anything. After all, they were still struggling to support themselves. I felt abandoned, unmoored, and drifting alone in a cold and uncaring world. I did not feel worthy of being helped, and my experience had taught me not to expect any help even when I asked. Luckily, I was able to stay with a school friend for a year while working and looking for a place to live. Thinking back, that would become one of the last times I would feel cared for in quite a long time. Just before she moved to a new city and left, my friend had suggested that I keep couch surfing with a distant friend of hers, but I was so tired of feeling listless and uprooted. In an attempt to finally stop feeling so out of place, I opted to move in with a recent boyfriend at the time. I was so excited to finally have a place of my own and had hoped that things would start falling into place. Unfortunately, this excitement wouldn't last. My boyfriend started to blow up at me for the smallest things, and it felt like I could never do anything right. Even after he started stealing my money, I felt like I couldn't leave. Would I have to go back to barely eating like when I was growing up? Should I really give up having a roof over my head? Could I even keep my job if I didn't have a permanent address? Where could I go? Paralyzed by these questions, I spent the next year or so making myself so agreeable, small and unnoticeable that my boyfriend would not bother me. I kept my head down, and I survived. One day, while I was in a crisis, I ended up calling a counselor that I had heard about through my work. It wasn't until that moment I started asking myself big questions, like, where can I go? Before I had no idea what the answers would be, but now I finally understood where I could go and what I could do to protect myself. It would still be months before I finally decided to leave him, but thanks to making a plan and being connected to a local women's shelter, I had hope for a new start and some temporary housing. It has not been easy getting back on my feet in these last few years, but thankfully I'm feeling well supported now. With support and a roof over my head, I am finally starting to feel more comfortable being on my own again. Having started over with almost nothing several times in my life, I can appreciate how much of a difference a food bank has made in helping me get back on my feet. At the request of a coworker, I have also started working with counselors to process my trauma and to let go of the pain and distrust that I am accustomed to feeling. As I open up to long ignored feelings and close up the wounds of fear and doubt, I am starting to feel more confident. While I admit that my journey is far from over, I do not feel the need to silence and shrink myself like I used to. For the first time in my life, I finally feel like a person who could have a future worth being proud of.